All right, Hitman is finally on Netflix and is the newest film by writer-director Richard Linklater, starring Glenn Powell and Adria Arjona, if I'm saying that right. And it's about a college professor moonlighting as a undercover hitman for the local police. And one day he falls in love with a client, and then shenanigans ensue as his lies and deceit start to unravel. Man, this movie was so good. It is so good. What an entertaining, just fun blast of a movie, man. It is so good. And I guess we can start with Glenn Powell. I mean, we have to start with Glenn Powell. The guy, you look up movie star in the dictionary and you'll see Glenn Powell's shit-eating grin on that page. Glenn Powell is just mesmerizing in this movie. He's charming, he's funny, he's tough, he's nerdy, he's goofy. He plays all of these parts like to perfection, and it is a blast to see him like take on these different hitman roles, and he just nails it. And it's funny because one of the ones, I don't know if you guys caught this, or maybe I'm just crazy, but there's one hitman personality he does. I think it's the Russian guy with the black hair. And when he smiles, he looked exactly like Heath Ledger. I was just like, whoa, that was kind of creepy. Like, it was very, not that they're trying to be Heath Ledger, I'm just saying it was just kind of a random thought that popped in my head, like, as he was smiling, and they got the close-up, and I was like, oh my gosh, that looks just like Heath Ledger. But no, he is fantastic. Glenn Powell is incredible in this movie, and I don't know if this is gonna, like, catapult him to A-list movie star, but... Because, I mean, at the end of the day, it's a Netflix movie, which means it'll be popular this weekend, and then it'll be completely buried and forgotten by next weekend, unfortunately. So I don't know if this is going to be the one, but it's definitely a step in the right direction. The more people see this movie. Also, he's got Twisters coming out soon, so... I hope nothing for the best. I want to keep watching Glenn Powell on the big screen or the small screen. But yeah, he is phenomenal in this movie. And his chemistry with... Adria Arjona, again, if I'm saying that right, I'm sorry if I'm butchering that, is so damn good. It is so good, their chemistry. It reminded me of, if you guys have seen Fall Guy yet, with Gosling and Emily Blunt. That was one of the best parts about The Fall Guy, was their chemistry and their relationship. And I would say the same thing here with Hitman. Their relationship and their chemistry is off the charts. It is, I mean, the moment they meet each other in that diner, like, you're smiling, you're like, oh, this is cute. Like, and you're like that throughout the whole movie. And yeah, their chemistry was just off the charts. So damn good. And what I found interesting about this movie is that pretty deep. I wasn't expecting that from this movie. Like, it has a fun shtick, you know, a fun concept of this nerdy professor guy who's, you know, by day he's teaching classes about psychology, and then, you know, by night he's a hitman. But the movie explores some heavy themes about identity and about our personalities, and I think the movie brings forth a question of, like, can we actually change our personality? Is that even possible? And I think that what I got from the end of the movie is that it's both, like, can we change our personalities? And I think that the movie lands on both a yes and a no. I think if you try hard enough and you know, envelop that personality you want to be, and you live and breathe that personality for so long, you will actually become that person. But your normal self, I guess you'd call it, is always going to be there. So I think the movie ends with like both a yes and a no to that question that the movie poses. And what's cool about this movie is that it's not an action movie. It's called Hitman, but I don't think there's even one action set piece in this movie. However, what action is replaced with is great moments of tension. There are like a handful of scenes in this movie that are so tense, and you're like wondering how this man is going to get out of the situation, or is he going to get caught? There's one scene specifically that involves a phone and involves the two lead characters, and it is by far the best scene of the movie. It is incredible to watch. The performances in that scene, how it's executed, it was just like everything leading up to that moment, up to the phone scene, I'll just call it, was like, oh my gosh, how is this going? How is this person going to get out of the situation? And watching it all unfold was like just a joy to watch, and I was just like laughing at the scene. I was on the edge of my seat. It's a great scene, and in my opinion, the best scene in the movie. And what I think Richard Linklater is really good at, and you see it throughout his whole, filmography, at least a lot of it, is that he's very good at dialogue and he's very good at letting scenes play out. I was actually kind of surprised how long some of these scenes are in this movie. The two scenes that stick out to me is the first time Gary has to play a hitman. It takes place in this diner where he's meeting this guy for the first time, and the scene is probably like over maybe 7 minutes long, maybe even longer than that. And I was just like, whoa, this scene keeps going and going and going. And I think it's a genius move because we're stuck in that moment with Gary and we're wondering how he's gonna, you know, handle the situation. And he keeps escalating and escalating, escalating. And we're all kind of in, just like the people in the truck listening to the conversation, we are in awe of his performance and his transformation from Gary to this hitman. And I think that's, the fact that that scene is so long is what makes that scene so effective. I think in a normal like romantic comedy or action comedy, a scene like this probably would be like 2 minutes long. You know, I think a normal average movie would just like get to the point, oh, he did something funny and then we're out of the scene. But here we stay for a very long time, and I think that's extremely effective. And the other one that I'm reflecting on is there's this scene where he's having a discussion with his ex-wife, and they're talking about a lot of the themes of the movie, which is like, you know, personality and can we change our personalities and become a different person. And again, that scene is like 7 minutes long, maybe even longer. And again, I think a normal average comedy movie would just have like a minute and a half scene, you know, get the bullet points in there and then you're out. But here we get to hang out with these two characters and let them kind of bounce back and forth about these kind of tough, you know, heady concepts. And I really appreciated that. I like sitting in moments and watching characters have an actual conversation as opposed to just like a couple lines of dialogue and then we're out onto the next scene. So I found it to be very refreshing, and you don't really see, you know, longer scenes like the dialogue scenes like this very often. If there's one negative thing about the Hitman, I should say, is that I kind of feel like Gary is too good at his job. Like, he is like OP, man. He is OP. Every time the movie, you know, puts forth like, oh, he's gonna fuck up, or here's a chance where he's gonna fuck up, he never actually does. He always gets out of the situations he's put in. And I kind of felt like that's a little bit of a missed opportunity. I would have liked him to fumble the ball, but instead he's fucking Tom Brady every time. And I don't know. I just felt like there needed to be a scene where he fails. And so, I don't know. It's just kind of a bummer that he's just like the superhero man of acting or something. Like, it's just like, come on, you got to fail at least once. But yeah, I love where this movie ends up. I'm not going to spoil where this movie ends, but I think it's a fun way to end the movie and a fun journey where we end up with these two characters. Some of it was unexpected. About halfway through the film, I actually thought like, oh, I bet you she's an actual hitman and she's like conning him, like getting to know him, and she's an actual hitman. He's trying to pretend to be one. Luckily, that was not the case because, you know, maybe that would have been a little too cliche, which is probably why I thought of it in the first place. But no, where we actually end up with these two characters is very interesting and also kind of romantic in a weird, fucked up way. But I ate it all up. I dug it. I thought it was great. So yeah, I highly recommend Hitman. It's another great movie from Richard Linklater and a sea of great movies from this guy. He is one of my favorite directors, whether we're talking about Dazed and Confused, Everybody Wants Some, the Before trilogy, School of Rock. I mean, the guy, Boyhood, the guy has banger after banger after banger, and this is another banger. This is a Netflix banger, and I highly recommend you check this one out. It is one of Netflix's best movies. So yeah, did you check out Hitman this weekend? Are you going to check it out? What did you think of the movie? Did you like it? Did you not like it? Let me know in the comments below, and I will see you on the next one.